Right now, most shops are charging somewhere around $150 an hour for labor. I would much rather spend $0 an hour. That is why I am going to be replacing the rear tire on my 2021 Street Glide myself in the garage here. And if anybody is going to be scratching that rear rim using tire spoons, it's going to be this guy right here. The tire that I'm replacing on the Street Glide is the rear tire, and it's this Michelin Commander 180 55/18. Most tires, they come with a coating on them just for shipping and to keep them in storage and whatnot. But if you don't clean that off, it can be pretty greasy your first ride out. I'm going to scrub it down with some spray 9. You can use like whatever degreaser you want to use. I'm going to scrub it off, and then I'm going to leave it out in the sun. That way it gets a little bit more pliable, so I can get this on the rim a little bit easier. And while this is out in the sun baking, I'll disassemble the rear end on this. Tires outside, it's all cleaned off. Just have it baking out in the sun now. Now I need to get the bike ready here to pull that rear tire off. So I think the first note of business, I'm gonna have to take the bags off. I remember last year when I did the Ultra, I had to take the exhaust off, or just the mufflers. Anyway, I'll pull the bags off here, and then I'll see if I'm gonna have to pull the mufflers off or not, but hopefully not, but more than likely yes. It looks like I am gonna have to take these mufflers off. It's not the end of the world. The reason for that is as soon as I loosen off the nut on the other side, the axle itself is gonna come out through this side, and the muffler's right in the way. I don't know what it is with this side, but when I pulled the factory muffler off there a couple weeks ago and replaced it with the Screaming Eagle pipes, it was an absolute pain in the butt to get off, and it was no different pulling the Screaming Eagle pipe off. I sprayed a little bit of WD-40 on there. I'll probably try to clean this up a little bit more, and I'll probably clean up the inside of the muffler too while I have it off, and probably spray a bunch of WD-40 in there for the way back on, but that's done. The next step here is going to be loosening off this nut after I take this clip off, and I'm going to have to hold the other side too, that way the whole axle doesn't spin. But if you're going to be doing this, you need one of these tools or the right size socket. I can't remember what size it is. I just bought this tool off Amazon. It was like 20 bucks. Just fits on there. Get my breaker bar on there and remove the torque. All right. I'll move this up, that way I can get some leverage on it. I need to figure out with my brain what I'm gonna do, and it looks like I'll just pull it that way. So I'll take off this clip. I usually just use like a flathead screwdriver and just kind of pry it off a little bit. Just make sure that my hand is there to catch it before it flings across the room. Yeah, just this morning, before I came out here to do this video, I had a comment on a video that I did last year on replacing the back tire on my Ultra, and this guy, he must not like, oop, there we go, there's the clip. Anyway, buddy must not be very handy, because he said it looked like it was a lot of trouble just to change a tire, and I should have just took it to the shop, but I don't know. I'd rather have a look at everything under here, and you know, while this wheel's off, I'll probably take it outside and scrub it, because I mean, when are you gonna ever have an opportunity to actually clean the entirety of your back wheel? I'll check out my brake pads, the whole nine. Anyway, yeah, some people just, I don't know, either they're afraid to try stuff or they're just not handy and know their limitations. That's fine too, but yeah, just kind of a strange thing to write on a video where somebody went out of their way to show themselves doing something, but some people just live in negativity. I think I was wrong about having to hold the other side. I think the whole reason for the hex head on the other side is to rotate the cam that adjusts your belt tension. This is a big nut. That's what holds your back tire on. Now I need to lift the back end of the bike up a little bit more, and then I'll take my rubber mallet and I'll start beating this out the other side. Might be completely out to lunch thinking that I should be doing this myself. As I lift this up, it's going to take the pressure off the inside of that axle, and then it should be able to just come out. When I'm hitting in on the end of something with threads on it, I like to put the nut back on it. That way I'm not going to be potentially beating up the threads. I know I'm using a rubber mallet here. It's good practice. This looks like it's the caliper mount, and then there's the ABS sensor right there. I believe that's what that is. If not, it's a spacer. And on this side, there might be a small spacer in here, I'm not sure. But this axle shaft is coming out nice and smooth. I put down a little piece of paper towel here, so when I put this axle tube on the workbench, it doesn't pick up any grit or anything. I did miss a step. What I was supposed to do was remove the bolt from the caliper for the caliper bracket itself. Yeah, when you're doing this kind of stuff, you're gonna inevitably make mistakes. I'm not a professional motorcycle mechanic. Can't be afraid to make the odd mistake. And it's not really like it was a catastrophic. I forgot to take out 2 bolts. Generally, like if you take a step back, you can kind of see the big picture instead of just being focused on the one thing that's not cooperating. I'm gonna need this high enough that I can clear the wheel from the rear fender. Push the wheel forward, pop the belt off. I'm putting a lot of trust in this little jack. I'm starting to get hungry. I should have enough run out space in the back there to get that wheel out. Should just slide out. Please cooperate. This is a good old-fashioned predicament. The logical thing to do here would be put that axle tube back in, pull the bike back a little bit so the back tire's over top of that. But I really don't feel like putting all that back together. Remove this trim piece off of the rear fender, then that should be enough space to get that out. There's a light under here on the bottom side of this fender trim piece, and that is just in the way. And if I get that out of the way, then I'll be able to roll this wheel out. The wheel is off. It's on my chair right there. I need to go pop the bead off, but I'll show you what I did do in here. I removed this rear light. Just needed to come off that stud. Now what I need to do is take all the air out of that rear tire. I'm going to soak down the sidewalls with, I use Windex. You can use soapy water. You don't need to buy a specific product for it. But I find Windex works fine. You can tell me in the comments what you use. You can call me an idiot. I don't care. I just threw my valve core back up on the bench with the bike there. This will be a messy part of the job. And once I get the tire off this, I'll probably throw the rim out on the yard, rub it down, make it nice and shiny. There's the tire spoons, and this is the bead breaking tool. This fork, it's got like a little bit of a wedge shape to it. What you do is you shove this end between the tire and the rim, and then this piece is kind of like a lever. It just sits in right there, and you just kind of do that. And what that'll do is this part of the tool is going to shove down against the sidewall, and then this inner piece right here, that should hit the inside of the rim where you're not going to see. I'm back with my safety Crocs. Pop off the old New Balances. Trade them in these for these bad girls. Start out by taking little bites on this. I should be wearing a pair of gloves right now, but I'm kind of an idiot. This is a way to do your tires in your garage with just hand tools. Is it sketchy? Yes. Is it cheaper than going to the shop? Absolutely. Is it worth it? I don't know. This is one of those jobs that the last little bit is the worst. You can get her started pretty good, but it's a little finicky. All right. Well, there's one side. the rim. I'm gonna take that outside, degrease it, hose it off, make it look nice. The tire's nice and hot, the wheel's clean. I'm just gonna pop the tire on the wheel. Usually the first side goes, like it should just slip right on. The second side, probably not gonna be so easy, but fingers crossed. So I'm just spraying this with Windex. I've also made sure that my tread is pointed in the correct direction. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Perfect. First side's on. I'm just getting ready to balance it. This is just a static balancer. Everybody's got their opinion on them. It's what I use, and it might not be what everybody uses. However, something is better than nothing. I'm just waiting for that to stop in one spot. I'll mark the bottom because theoretically that should be the heaviest point. And I'll do this rotation again and see if it lands in the same spot. If it keeps landing in the same spot, I've got all these sticky weights here, and I'll just progressively add a little bit more weight 180 degrees out, so on the opposite side of the wheel from wherever this heavy spot is. For some reason, these Michelin Commanders, they don't have heaviest spot and the lightest spot of the tire marked. The Dunlops that I did last year on my Ultra and the Shinkos that I put on my Sportster, those both had the heaviest and the lightest spots marked. This tire didn't for some reason. Eventually, this thing should stop. It's like watching paint dry. I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to add weight. First couple rounds, it didn't balance up perfectly. But what I did here is I just took 2 of these small weights and I just painter's taped them on there. And that's just so I can move them around and find exactly where they need to go. Seems like it's good enough. These are gray. I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm going to paint them black. That way when I put them on the rim, they're not going to stick out like a sore thumb. I had this paint marker kicking around. It's for an Audi. For some reason I have it. I'm just waiting for the paint to finish drying, but they're black. Ooh, that's hot. I was using my my heat gun to help the paint along with curing. Once that's done, I'll put them on the rim and start throwing the rim on the bike. This has been a little bit of an endeavor, but I'm saving money. And I'm the one that's touching my bike, not someone else. Next, what I need to do is pull my rim and tire off the stand there. I'm not going to bother showing you that, but it's the messy side of stuff. It's time to put anti-seize on the axle and the wheel bearings. And yeah, if you've ever worked with anti-seize, you know that if you get like one small speck on you, it's everywhere. It's all up your hands, arms, door handles, you name it. If it's on your finger, on your skin, it's everywhere unless you wipe it off immediately. And I know myself better than that. I'm not wiping it off immediately. I'm going to be putting a very non-generous amount of anti-seize just on the insides of these bearings. And I'm trying to wipe off as much excess off here as I can. Even that's probably too much. Put a small amount on here. It's on the floor. Now it's going to be everywhere. I only put a little bit on there, so I'm just trying to spread it around. Take these gloves off. The wheel down because now I'm going to have to lift the bike back up. Okay. Going up. I think I'm just going to time lapse this. Buttoning everything up here. I've got the wheels back on the bike. I'm not torquing the axle tube until It's got weight on the ground. I love being contorted. Yeah, this is a really interesting position to be in. Every time I go to swing my socket wrench back, it wants to slide off the bolt and hit me in the face. I'm holding my head up with my hand here, kind of doing the George Costanza. Torque screws for a taillight. Give me a break. Could I have got this done for like 200 bucks? Yeah, probably. But where's the fun in that? I gave myself something to do on a, oh my God, on a Sunday afternoon. And now I know my bike a little bit better. I've got my mufflers back on. The rear wheel's torqued. I'm gonna wait to put the saddlebags on. I'm just gonna take it for a test ride down the street just to make sure everything's good. And then I'll throw it back on the hoist, have a quick look, make sure nothing's out of place. I marked the cam adjusters for the axle. So that should pretty much be it. Everything's torqued. All the heat shields are back on. I'll probably start it up here for a second. Okay, I'm gonna get this big girl off the hoist now. All back together, minus the bags, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to take this on a test ride per se, or if I should just wait until I go pick up my transit permit before I go for the inspection on this. Personally, I've never been given a warning with any sort of run-in with the law. It's always just been straight to ticket. Pretty much all of my friends, anytime they've been pulled over, they get warnings. I don't know what it is about me. That beats me. Like, anytime I've been speeding, it's only been maybe 10 or 15 over. Well, that's kilometers an hour, so it's pretty negligible. And just like for reference, most people drive like 10 or 15 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. That's a very long-winded way of saying that I probably shouldn't risk it and just make sure I go do everything the legal way. As much as that doesn't sound like a lot of fun, I'd love to just hop on this and go down the highway, but my luck, there'd be a cop sitting on the side of the road. He'd see my father's license plate on the bike and then want to have a conversation. And usually, conversations with traffic cops, for me, end up in tickets. I don't want to take the money that I saved doing this tire myself and then spend that on Johnny Law. It's just a tire replacement, but it's quite a few steps involved, especially because of the exhaust and the way that the bag supports and everything are. It's a little bit of work, but at least I get to go through everything, make sure everything's all buttoned up properly. I don't know if, we'll say Bob at the shop is going to take as much care with my bike as he is with his own. I was able to take my time, clean my wheel, balance it properly, test it out. I properly torqued my axle nut, and I checked my belt deflection. That's all good as per the book. And then I took it for a little test ride just down the street, put it back on the hoist, had a look at the witness marks that I put on the adjustment cam itself, just to make sure that everything's where it should be, and nothing moved. since I got the back tire done on this, I got my transit permit, and I had the bike booked in, had the inspection done. That went off without a hitch. Start to finish, as far as like paying for things goes wise, I think it was 20 bucks for the application for the out of province and the forms to take to the shop. It was $210 for the inspection itself, which was a little bit more expensive than I was thinking, but there's nowhere else in the area to go to. I brought the paperwork to the registry's office. It was another $50 to register this bike. And now the cost of regular fuel is $1.82 a liter, and I've been riding my bicycle to work pretty much the entire week. Now this thing's completely legal. She's good to go. I'll never have to do a safety inspection in Alberta on this bike ever again. Having said that, I will make sure that this motorcycle is safe to ride. No idea what next week's video is gonna be. It's probably gonna be something with one of these two bikes. I do need to do a fluid change on the Sportster, so maybe I'll do that. Anyway, appreciate everybody for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.